Welcome back, nerds. Today we are headed to Hell's Kitchen to talk about all the people that keep Daredevil busy when Kingpin and Bullseye aren't acting up. Here are 10 Daredevil villains that only superfans will remember. 10. Jester. Jester was an actor first and a bad one. He did everything he could to improve his craft though, like taking classes to expand his abilities, fencing, gymnastics, basically doing everything but taking an acting class. He got fed up and decided that if people wanted to laugh at others' expense, then he would become the ultimate jester. He hired someone to make him gimmicky weapons, which I love because I always wondered where villains would get their hyper-specific themed gadgets. Jester was quite the troublemaker, creating false newscasts claiming JFK was still alive, that wars never happened, fake commercials, framing heroes. There were multiple times when Jester reached acting success though, and promptly gave up his life of crime, only to return in the end when it all dried up. 9. Death-Stalker. It's actually unclear why he turned to crime because he was rich and from a powerful family, but either way, he was part of the plot that got Daredevil stuck between the physical Earth and an interdimensional realm. Daredevil was able to escape, but Stalker went in next. He could manifest a physical body on Earth, but he was kind of like a ghost, always returning back to where he came from. In the end, him and Daredevil fought in a graveyard, and Stalker miscalculated, becoming physical again while jumping through a tombstone and literally splitting himself in half. His mother avenged his death by rigging her mansion with traps and robots, and then there was a moment where Stalker was sent to the future for some reason before he died, found out what happened to him, crashed out, and then was just sent back in time with no memory of the event for some reason. 8. Matador. The Matador was actually a Matador first, so at least we know where he got his name from, but he was vain and power hungry. He made some odd choices when it came to his actual profession and quickly lost public favor for his brutal methods in the ring. He was later part of the Daredevil false memories plot, but that part was not intentional. He didn't plan on doing that. 7. Ramrod. Ramrod was a construction boss involved in a pretty serious accident. He was taken by Broderick and Moondragon and genetically engineered into a cyborg for their gain. He was told that his makers could poison him at any time using his implanted metal parts, and through this blackmail fought Daredevil to try and gain control of LA. Did it work though? No, absolutely not. 6. Micah Synn. Chief of an African tribe, Micah was a piece of work. He wasn't respectful at all, he stole, he was rude, he fought anything that opposed him. He was just like a general menace to society. He even had an affair with Foggy Nelson's wife. A lot of Daredevil fans actually hated this run, citing poorly written dialogue, outdated themes and attitudes, and just generally being lackluster. In the end, Micah defeated himself due to a poor diet and being in New York City pollution. 5. Plastoid. Plastoid was a humanoid robot built to eliminate. One thing that was, I guess, like helpful to his opponents is he had a plate on his chest with his operational efficiency. If it's a 10, he's good, 1 bad, you get it. At one point, he did jump to a 50 and grew in size to meet that power. However, he wasn't really built for such a stark jump, and eventually it aided in his downfall. 4. Lady Killer. Quite literally. He just sucked. He didn't like women. No reason. He just didn't. He would hunt them down under the belief they needed to be punished for simply existing. He had no powers, but it highlighted that sometimes the worst villains are the ones that actually exist in the real world and are not simply outlandish creatures. 3. Tribune. The actor turned modern-day demon. A right extremist, Tribune was an actor who took his beliefs too far, creating a judge-villain persona for himself. Tribune carried around a gavel that could expel fire. He tried to cause a national incident, but Daredevil of course stopped him. Tribune ended up faking his death and fled to California, where he is still acting up, but in his civilian identity now. 2. Vapora. She comes from a one-shot that was a public service announcement about the dangers of gasoline fumes. So she was really just symbolic of a greater problem and didn't actually have a personal agenda. She just kind of popped in wherever. 1. Duke Klaus Kruger. The ruler of Lichtenbad. He met Daredevil on an exchange program in the US. He lured Matt back to his country in an attempt to gather all the greatest minds in the world, but his mind wasn't so great. He greatly miscalculated his own castle walls and lunged at Daredevil and literally fell off of that castle to his doom. But what do you think? Who's your favorite Daredevil villain? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, nerds!